Welcome to another day with Miss Gabriel. Let me go ahead and put my presentation in a bigger view for all of you. All right. I hope we're ready to have a great day because today is day 4. On day 4, we learn phonemic awareness, high frequency words, vocabulary strategy, and we make text-to-text comparisons. Are you ready? Let's go ahead and start with some phonics. Today we are going to do a review on syllables. Words can have one or more parts called syllables. Each syllable is one vowel sound. Let's go ahead and figure out which letters are vowels. That's right, our vowels are O and E. What are the consonants between the vowels? Well, I see C, B, W, and B. Those are the consonants. Let's clap it out. Cob, web. Nice, that's 2 syllables. Our next word. How many vowels do you see? I see 2 vowels, E and I. And what are the consonants? Yep, D, N, T, S, and T. So let's clap it out to see how many syllables we have. Dentist. That's 2 syllables. Good job. All right, scholars, let's warm up with our teachers today. I want you to clap it out today, so let's clap it out and count how many syllables we have. Pen, 1 syllable. Pencil, 2 syllables. Clap, 1 syllable. Butt, 1 syllable. Button, 2 syllables. Less, 1. Unless, 2 syllables. Top, 1 syllable. Tip top, 2 syllables. Awesome job. All right, scholars, thank you for doing that warm up with me today. We are moving on to our vocabulary strategy, which has been all about using a glossary. Let's fill in the blanks by looking at our glossary over here. Dad cooks supper in the, which word makes sense? Awesome job. That would be kitchen. Dad cooks supper in the kitchen because a kitchen is a room where meals are cooked. The blank keeps the house dry when it rains. What would keep the house dry when it rains? Take a look. That's right. It would be roof. The roof keeps the house dry when it rains. Let's check out the next one. I see flowers in the, what do you think? That's right, it's garden. Last one, let's look at our glossary. We stayed at a blank at the beach. That's right, it's cottage. A cottage is a small house, and we see that right here in our glossary. Don't forget, our glossary was in alphabetical order. Great job. All right, scholars, we are going to move on now to our text-to-text comparison. We've been reading an anchor text all about Camilla's family. Now we're moving on to a different genre, and we're going to compare those 2 texts. The genre here is poetry. Poetry uses the sound of words to show pictures and feeling. Rhythm is a pattern of beats like music. As we read the poems today, see if you can hear a rhythm. So today we will make text-to-text connections with our anchor text, My Family, and Family Poetry. Follow along as I read. I see our first poem here. Everybody says. Everybody says, I look just like my mother. Everybody says, I'm the image of Aunt B. Everybody says, my nose is like my father's, but I want it to look like me. Can you already think of ways that this poem is like Camilla's family? Great job. Let's read the next poem. This is called Abuelita's Lap. If you look at this photograph, I know that abuelita means grandma. Follow along. I know a place where I can sit and tell about my day. Tell every color that I saw, from green to cactus gray. I know a place where I can sit and hear a favorite beat. Her heart and cuentos from the past, the rhythms honey sweet. I know a place where I can sit and listen to a star, listen to its silent song gliding from afar. I know a place where I can sit and hear the wind go by, hearing it spinning around my house, my whirling lullaby. Wow, that was a really great poem. Let's read the next one. Grandpa's Stories. Follow along with your teacher. The pictures on the television do not make me dream as well as the stories without pictures Grandpa knows how to tell, even if he does not know what makes a spaceman go. Grandpa says back in his time, hamburgers only cost a dime. Ice cream cones a nickel, and a penny for a pickle. All right, scholars. I hope you enjoyed all of those poems that we read today. What we're going to do now is make a text-to-text comparison. When we do that, we look at two different texts. Today, we're going to look at My Family and Family Poetry, and we're going to compare them. Which poem from Family Poetry do you think Camila would say best tells about her family? Let's share our ideas together. When we compare, we're talking about how things are the same. So today, we're going to talk about how some of the poems were the same as Camila's family. Let's go ahead and start with the first poem. All right. So Miss Gabriel decided to choose Abuelita's Lap, and we're going to look at this page from My Family to see if things that are in this text relate to things that are in this poem called Abuelita's Lap. Let me read this text first. Let me read page 52. On Sundays, we go to church with Grandma. Then we all go to Aunt Martika's and Uncle Miguel's house. After lunch, we play music. Go ahead and read Abuelita's Lap again with your teacher. After, I want you to think about how these two texts are the same. Let's see how these two texts are the same. Wow. So in both texts, we see that visiting grandparents is a really big part of Camila's life, and it's a really big part of this child's life. Abuelita means grandma. And here we see that Camila, on Sundays, we go to church with grandma. These two texts are the same because they talk about grandparents and they talk about visiting grandparents and the feeling that we get. The poem tells us about the feeling we get when we visit Abuelita, and Camila's text called My Family tells us about her going to church with grandma. So we know that both texts tell us about grandparents and what it means to visit them. Let's try another one. I also chose this poem called Grandpa's Stories. Thumbs up if you can already think of why we should be comparing Grandpa's stories to Camila's life. Oops. All right, let me read page 54. We spend the rest of the day in the backyard. The grown-ups play dominoes while Uncle Andres tells funny stories. Gabriella and I sit on the porch and paint pictures. Right here is a big clue word. Uncle Andres tells funny stories. Well, can you think of how Grandpa's stories, go ahead and read it with your teacher, is similar to Camila's text about her family? Let's think. You got it. In Grandpa's stories, we learn that Grandpa is the one telling all the wild and funny stories, just like Uncle Andres tells funny stories in Camila's family. So if we had to compare this poem to what we read in the text, we know that they're the same because Grandpa's or relatives like to tell stories. All right, scholars. So today we were comparing these poems to Camilla's family to see how they were the same. I hope you had a really good day. Let's go ahead and move on to day 5. We will be doing that tomorrow. Awesome job.